Well, hello there, everybody. I'm streaming live here on a Monday. Is it Monday? Yeah, it's Monday. Get my days kind of confused. It's been a long week already. I wonder if any of you out there can feel that too. Um, I have a box to open up today, and oh, look at that! We already have Taylor. Hey, Taylor, how you doing? Um, and I see, man, James is right on it over on in my Discord group. I just got a little notification there. It says that he's already posted the link to this live stream. Couldn't do it without you, James. Appreciate all of the work that you do behind the scenes, linking all those things. It's really great. Got a box here with some epic collections in it. But first, before I get to that box, I have a different box. I have this box right here. And I want to open this one up with you because it's kind of special. And I'll tell you why. What did I do with my knife? I lost it. What did I do with it? This one, by the way, this box is not, it's not Epic Collections. It's not Marvel related. It's a Kickstarter that I backed a little while ago. Maybe some of you backed it too. But I'm happy to receive this box of goodies. I know many of you are probably fans of Jeff Smith's Bone. Is that right? Check this out. Oh, upside down. Thorn. Have you ever heard of this? It's a comic strip that Jeff Smith did back in his college days, and it stars all of the Bone characters, but it was called Thorn because she was the main character, and this is what he turned into the Bone comic series that he published through his own cartoon books and through Image way back in the 90s, and which is still super, super popular today. Really cool. So let's see. How do we open this up? It's neat because it's like a lot of the story is the same. It follows some of the same story beats. However, it's a newspaper comic strip that it was in his college newspaper, so it has a different feel to it because it relies a lot more on gags, and the pacing is just different because, of course, it's just a daily thing. You get a couple of squares every day. But this has never been reprinted in full. And it's had a couple of different smaller collections when they do like some art shows and that kind of stuff. But now, and several years ago, I actually talked to Jeff Smith and asked him if he wanted to publish it through the Library of American Comics because we were looking for some new projects. And he, at that time, he told me that he actually didn't want to release this because it's kind of embarrassing to him. All of his old stuff, his old art style is like not polished. It's really rough. And it's not something that he really wanted to get out there. But I'm glad that he changed his mind and decided to get this book out there. He's doing it through his own company, Cartoon Books. And so he self-publishes this. And yeah, I'm really, really happy. I've never read this all the way through. So it's very, very cool. And there were some, I think there are some extras in the Kickstarter that should be in this box as well. Let me see if I can find them. A lot of packaging here. They must be in this. It's sealed. A nice set of prints, kind of showing the process. I think there's some other stuff in here. But anyway, I know you're not here to see this stuff. So let's get on with talking about the Epic collections. Where's that other box? Anyway, thanks for indulging me. I've loved Bone for so long, since the 90s. I first learned about Bone in an issues of Disney's Adventures magazine that I collected when I was a kid. I had a subscription to that. Does anyone remember that magazine, Disney's Adventures? They had a couple of Bone stories, including, I think, the first chapters of the whole story, plus a couple of little bonus short stories. And that's where I learned about them first. Pretty cool. Wonder if there will be a volume 2 of Rarity, since there's a gap between the end of this and the start of Bone. I couldn't tell you because I haven't read this, so I'm not too sure. I will have to read it and see for myself there. Okay, we've got 2 books to talk about. We'll talk about this one first. This is the Old Republic, Star Wars: The Old Republic, Star Wars Legends Epic Collection, The Old Republic, Volume 1, a reprint. For the longest time, this was the most sought after Star Wars a book, because it went out of print and no one could find it. Everyone was looking for it everywhere. And the material has since been reprinted in omnibus form. But now here we are with a brand new edition of the paperback of the Epic Collection. I think it's all the same. It shouldn't have anything that's really different about it, but who knows? So this is the beginning of the Star Wars saga. Not the beginning of the Star Wars saga, because there's the Tales of the Jedi, which takes place like thousands of years before this. This story takes place 4 millennia before Episode 1. It's all about the early days, or not the early days, but the like the high point of the Jedi, where they are in full force doing what they are meant to be doing, and before, the Sith is still out there and stuff, but they are protecting the universe. So these stories, let's see, a lot of them are from 2006. Looks like all of them are from 2006. This is from Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, issue 0 through issue 18, a straight shot. So that's kind of cool. I haven't gotten around to reading this volume yet, because I've been trying to read the Star Wars stuff in the order that it was published, which means I'm jumping around through the different epics a lot, and I haven't reached 2006 yet. I'm stuck still in 1998. So, but sure looks nice. I like that. Let's see who's some of the creative team on this. It's all written by John Jackson Miller, with artists Brian Ching, Travel Foreman, Dustin Weaver, Harvey Tolibau, with Crystal Faith Celestial. That's an interesting name. A lot of names there that I don't recognize, but that's okay. There you go. That's the first Epic collection that we have to talk about today. The Old Republic, Volume 1. Okay, the next one that we're going to talk about today is Avengers. Avengers Epic Collection, Volume 11, if you can believe it. We're at Volume 11. This is a great cover. George Perez, the issue number 200, although the issue itself, 200, has a lot of controversy behind it. So here, The Evil Reborn, and it has Iron Man on the cover. This Iron Man, it's right there. The back cover image featuring Wonder Man and the Beast. And this looks like a pretty thick one. Look how thick that spine is. That's really nice. This is 1979 to 1981. Avengers numbers 189 to 209 plus annual 10, Marvel Premiere 55, and Tales to Astonish number 12. There you go. Taylor, I'll come back to this question in a little bit after we talk about this epic collection for a little bit. So let's take a look inside. There's your list of credits. Look at all those names there. David Michelini right at the top, with a lot of writers. Stephen Grant, Mark Grunwald, Roger Stern, Jim Shooter, George Perez, Bob Layton, Bob Budiansky, Bill Mantlo, Danny Fingerth, J.M. DeMatteis, Chris Claremont, and Tom DeFalco. That's just like awesome name after awesome name there. With pencilers and layouts by George Perez, John Byrne, Gene Colan, Arvell Jones, Sal Buscema, Carmine Infantino, Don Newton, Alan Kupperberg, Ron Wilson, Michael Golden, and John Fuller. Another list of stellar names. This is a great book for all of you who love the 1970s, the early 80s, I guess, at this point. With the 200th issue fast approaching, they are going to they always do these little periods where they have to kind of reassess their team and see who's in and who's out, and a lot of that is determined by Gyrick, who's their government liaison. Jocasta is there with Vision. Yellow Jacket. And the Wasp. The Wasp is on the table there. Oh, Gabriel says, finally, it's been a long time since I saw a live Avengers 200, a polemic story. Yes. Phil's here too. Warren's here as well. How you doing, everyone? Yeah. So yes, some really, really great stuff here. If you don't know the controversy behind 200, I'm not going to get into it here, but you can read up on it. There's there's the origin of the Taskmaster. The untold story. I like this untold story. Avengers After Hours. The elevator incident. There's some Carmine Infantino layouts right there. Oh man, and the Red Ronin character from the Godzilla comics. I wish that the Godzilla omnibus added the other Godzilla stories and the follow-up Red Ronin stories to the omnibus, just to make it a little bit thicker, right? That would have been nice, because it's just they collect all the 24 issues, but they're short issues, because I think it was the mid-70s, right? But they could have put this Red Ronin story in there. Is annual 10 where Chris Claremont shoots back on issue 200? Yes, I believe it is. Here's the issue 200 right there. They even kept in the Toys R Us logo at the top. That's great. I wonder who won this, the Toys R Us shopping spree. Does anyone know? Did that ever get revealed? Grand prize minimum value $3,000. Pretty good. Let's see. Where is that annual number 10? Annual number 10. Yes, it is the issue. So they have the controversial issue plus the one that tries to correct the mistake in the same volume. So that's actually kind of nice. Beautiful Michael Golden art in this annual. I just love his stuff so much. Just dynamic, explosive artwork coming from Michael Golden. Really cool. I do like this team a lot. I like Wonder Man in his red jacket and the partnership he has with Beast. Looks like we got some stereotypes over here. Got to keep those stereotypes alive even in the early 80s. It's amazing that they're still around, but that was the state of things. The relationship that Beast had with Wonder Man was just so awesome. A lot of fun. Really cool. A lot of neat stuff there. I like the simplicity in that drawing right there with the whatever it is. I haven't read that issue. Gene Colan art, though. You can see it. See some of that Gene Colan, the dynamic shadows that he always does. that inkers try to replicate as best they can. Man, there's nothing like seeing Gene Colan's pencils, original pencils. It's just some. I wonder if any of them are at the back of this book. Let's have a look. We got some calendars. In fact, a lot of calendars. The whole 1977 calendar, it looks like, is a bonus feature. Oh, not the whole thing, just some of it. Avengers Hall of Fame. This was the final 3 issues of the Avengers reprint series. Marvel Super Action features Avengers Hall of Fame character biography pinups written by Roger Stern. Because I guess they had to increase the page count because at the time that reprint was happening, they had increased the page count. And of course, these comics from the, I guess, the 70s maybe were a little shorter. That's my guess. Weren't these in a different volume? I thought these were in a different volume. I've seen them before, I think. Or maybe there were more of them. Anyway, The Greatest Battles of the Avengers. Nice double-page spread. That was a cover for a trade paperback. This is Tom Rainey. And then, so yeah, no original art in this one. That's too bad. But there you go. Are we closing the gap between Stern and Michelini? How many books do you think there will be? Well, we already know that volume 13 is coming out. They've already announced that one. They're skipping over, this is volume 11, so they're skipping over volume 12, and they're going right to volume 13. And then after that, it's just 14 and 15, and then it's done. Can you believe that? We just have 4 more volumes to fill in the gap, and one of them's already announced. So after we get volume 13 in 2025, we'll need maybe volume 11 in 2026, sorry. So 2025 has volume 13, volume 12 in 2026, volume 14, 2027, and volume 15 in 2028. And then Avengers will be done up to Heroes Reborn. Or up to Heroes Reborn. And, you know, oh, and there's still one on the other end of Avengers as well. They haven't finished closing the gap on the other end of Avengers, the more modern side. Yeah, we have volume 23, 24, 25, 26. So we'll have probably 2 volumes of The Crossing, 27 and 28, to deal with as well. So we'll get those volumes mixed in there also. But that is a lot of Avengers volumes. Pretty amazing. It's safe to guess that Aliens Epics won't be able to carry the various crossovers like Batman's Aliens, Superman's Aliens. Yeah, absolutely not. They will not have any of those crossover ones. If anything, now this is a tricky one because, yeah, I don't even know. I mean, I guess they could do that one, do it as its own standalone collection if they have a partnership with DC, which, you know, they seem to be a little chummy right now since they have the omnibus Marvel versus DC and the Amalgam crossover omnibus coming out. But I wouldn't hold my breath. If you can find those old trade paperbacks, that would probably be the way to get those stories. Speaking of aliens, though, Omar, I saw on one of his TikToks, he was opening up some boxes, and he got another printing of Aliens Epic Collection Volume 1. That one's gone back to press, and so there is a second printing of that one that's coming out. I think he said that it was probably the last week of April that it's coming out. These ones, by the way, are May the 21st. They're scheduled for May the 21st. So there you go. Okay, so going back to Taylor's comment earlier, let me see if I can find that. Have you got the Venus Atlas collection from Fantagraphics yet? And do you own the Masterworks that predates it? First of all, I don't have the Masterworks that predates it. I haven't really bought any Masterworks. I bought my first Masterworks actually just the other day. I found Marvel Rarities at a local comic shop, and so I got that one. But no, I don't have that first one. I'm going to have to try and find it. But no, I haven't got the Atlas Fantagraphics collection yet. I should get that one, shouldn't I? I really enjoyed Adventures into Terror. I thought that volume was just great. Really fun stories. Not quite up to the level of EC Comics, and definitely not up to the level of creepy and eerie, but nice to still have stuff in that vein and to see all of those creators who, only worked in for that company pretty much, who don't get very much attention these days. It's not the regular EC crowd, that's for sure. Um, but I am looking forward to that Venus collection, and I'll have to pick that up really soon. But the what that Venus collection from Fantagraphics does say Volume 2 on it, so it makes me think that they will eventually get around to giving us Volume 1, even though it's already available as Masterworks, but a long out of print Masterworks, that is. I think DC did do an Aliens, Predator, Dark Horse DC crossover trades a few years back. Yes, they did a few of those. They had those Aliens and Predator. I think they had like yellow. They had a banner across the top, and they had yellow text on the spine or something like that. Tricky question. I follow your philosophy of epics is the best way to collect. Are you going to buy the omnibus of Marvel versus DC and Amalgam? I'm not, because I have all those issues in single and in single issues. I bought them when they came out, when the original story came out, and I love them. I absolutely love them, but I don't need to spend another $125 to buy those issues again. I have all I need. I agree that's up to EC quality. We're talking about the Adventures into Terror, but it's still a lot of fun. I think you agree that it's not quite up to EC's quality, but still a lot of fun. I got the super oversized Joe Manili collection from him as well. Great art, great seeing his art collected in a beautiful presentation. Do you know that Stan Lee? I read that Stan Lee said that I think one of his favorite artists to work with was Joe Manili, and Joe doesn't get a whole lot of attention because he didn't really make it into the superhero world. And so it's nice that he's getting some attention because he is very, very good. Hey Curtis, your epic collection is so impressive. Is it fair to say that you have every epic Marvel has made up to this point? The answer is yes. I was an early on boarder, and so I think when I first got into the epics, there were only about 15 of them out at that point, and so I was able to easily uh, get them back. The only one that was out of stock or out of print at the time was Captain America: Dawn's Early Light, and I don't know why, because I don't think it's actually being reprinted. It just disappeared for a little while. It would have been interesting to see what Marvel would have been like if Manili had lived. Yeah, I don't know. It would have been kind of cool. The great what if in Marvel history is, what would the Marvel Silver Age had been like if Manili didn't pass away at such a young age? Yeah, would have been interesting. I think he would have been a trendsetter in terms of his storytelling, because he has quite a specific way of telling his story through his art. And if you go through the Adventures into Terror stories, the vibe of his stories is very different from all the rest of them, and I think that's why they're giving him his own collection, like a solo collection, because he has a very unique way of storytelling, and I love it. I think it's great. So I think, yeah, he would have been quite influential in the way that he would have worked with Stan. I don't know if that would have made a big difference in the Marvel method. I don't know if Marvel method is how they worked in the Atlas era. I have no idea, but kind of be cool. Yeah, I would have loved to see. It's too bad that he wasn't around for that. Oh, yeah, I already still saw that one. Well, everybody, that's what we have for today. When are the next round of announcements coming out? I don't really know, but Penguin Random House is almost at the point of releasing or posting all of the books on their website up to the end of January, which is what we have up to the end of in our announcements. So I would assume that that means we should be getting some more announcements sometime pretty soon. I should check in with Omar and see what he says, because it's probably going to happen fairly soon here. Maybe in June. I think that might be right. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. I'm going to sign off here. Just a reminder, Avengers Volume 11 and a reprint of Star Wars The Old Republic Volume 1 are coming May the 21st. So mark that in your calendars for all of you who are looking for these epic collections. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and I hope you have a great evening. Good night.